Okay, so one of the most requested videos that I get is on the topic of intermittent fasting. If you have no idea what intermittent fasting is, I'll just do like a 1-minute little summary of what it is. Basically, intermittent fasting is when it's not like you're fasting for a full day, or you're fasting for a full week or a month or 40 days or something like that. It's literally where you take, maybe up to 12 hours or 16 hours, sometimes 20 hours, and sometimes it is a full day, like 24 hours of fasting, of abstaining from food. And during that time, you don't drink anything but water. Some people drink coffee or tea, but you don't eat anything. So you're basically just fasting and causing your body to abstain from food for that amount of time. There's been a lot of stuff that has come out about intermittent fasting in the last few years, specifically very recently in the last few months. There's a lot of, fitness experts and bodybuilders and all type of people doing intermittent fasting, and they're having great results and all that kind of stuff. And so everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, do I need to do this? Is it gonna, help me lose body fat? Is it gonna help me increase my longevity in my life? And all types of stuff like that, because that is one of the things that is claimed that to do is that when you fast, that helps you to burn body fat, and then also it can help increase your lifespan. There's a lot of studies done, there's a lot of research. Today, I'm going to just talk about this from just a basic perspective, because I think intermittent fasting can be great for some people, but at the same time, I think it can be horrible for other people. When it comes to intermittent fasting, in my opinion, I really don't think there is a right or wrong answer in general. But I do think there is a right or wrong answer when it comes to you specifically. And this is where you have to make up your mind, and you have to just decide on your own if you're gonna do it, or you're gonna try it, or you're gonna stick with it, or you're gonna stop, or whatever. Like, that is your thing. Some people love doing intermittent fasting. Like, it is their thing. It just feels great to them. They don't want to eat breakfast, so they'll push their meal back a couple of hours and eat lunch and snacks and dinner, and then they'll fast until the next day. Some people, just the thought of that makes them go crazy. Like, they're like, no, I can never skip breakfast or my mid-morning snack. I like to eat all the time. My whole thing about this is it's really simple, to be honest with you. If you want to try it, okay? See how it goes, see what you think about it. But if at any point you start feeling like you are getting super restrictive, you're really abstaining from food, like you're constantly just thinking about food, and you're constantly just like trying to suppress your appetite, and it's causing a lot of disordered eating issues and a lot of just horrible things that are coming up for you, I would encourage you to stop, okay? It's as simple as that. For other people who do it, like it's just like second nature to them. Like, they don't even think about it. It's not even that big of a deal. They just do it, and it's like, whatever. But for some people, it's a big issue. A lot of people claim that it burns more body fat and that type of thing, and that might be true, but at the same time, there's plenty of people out there who are eating 3 meals a day or 16 meals a day, and they're just as good with their body fat as well. Just kind of up to you, really, honestly. If you are going for a long amount of time, especially if you're a girl, okay, you're a woman, we seem to have issues with this more than men do. Men have a more difficult time when it comes to fasting, at least in my experience with working with people, than men do. But for women, it can be a little bit different, especially with your menstrual cycle. If you're doing this and you're finding it's working great for you, and you're still getting your cycle, and you feel healthy, and you're not obsessing over food, then that's totally fine. But if you start doing it and you start to see that your cycle gets irregular, or you're missing periods or whatever, and you're constantly thinking about food, you're obsessing, like you can't wait till lunchtime, that type of thing, I would really encourage you to stay away from this, or at least take a break from it for a little while and kind of reset things. Because you don't want to get back into any bad habits that you just left. At the same time, not just from like a restriction standpoint, but there's a lot of people who try to do intermittent fasting, and they find that they start binging a lot, okay? Because it's kind of like this cheat meal mentality. Like, it's kind of that similar type of thing where you think about, it's kind of putting food on a pedestal in a way. For some people, again, not everybody, but some people who do it, it puts food on a pedestal to where you're just like thinking about when you get to eat your first meal, when you get to break your fast. And so when they do that, it literally just opens the door for a huge binge. And if that's something that you deal with, then I encourage you not to do it. Like, it doesn't, just because it might be a good thing doesn't mean that it's necessarily a good thing for everyone all the time, especially like where you are right now. Maybe it'll be a good thing for you later on, or maybe it won't ever be a good thing for you. There's been people who have lived long, healthy lives, and they've never intermittent fasting. They've eaten when they're hungry and they stop when they're full. They never abstain from food in any type of way. There's other people who like to do it, and it's just natural for them. There's some people who do it just like naturally, like they don't even think about it. Some days they don't eat breakfast and they just eat lunch and dinner. Some days they eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some days they eat breakfast or brunch or whatever around 10 o'clock. Like, just let it be natural. And so that is my biggest tip for this whole thing is if you want to try it, okay? I'm not going to sit here and say it's horrible because I do know that it helps a lot of people in a lot of different ways. But at the same time, I highly encourage you that if you are coming from a background of having a lot of disordered eating habits and stuff like that, don't go and jump on something else just to throw on top of whatever else you're doing. Chances are you're probably doing all the latest diet and fitness and health trends. You're probably doing high intensity training, and you're probably doing endurance cardio, and you're probably doing intermittent fasting, and then you've got your perfect little diet and you're weighing your macros and you're doing, like, you're into everything, okay? That's what the chances probably are. This isn't just like, oh, I just eat, you know, cheeseburgers and ice cream and I think I'm going to intermittent fast. No, like, chances are you're probably got a long list of things. And if that's you, that's just creating more rules for you to stick to every area that you're doing. So you got to do your IFYM, you got to do your intermittent fasting, you got to do this. And you're just like, your whole life is just rules and guidelines and regulations and all kinds of stuff. And if that's you and it's really bothering you, then don't do it. Granted, there are some people out there who do all of those things and they're fine. Like, they don't care. It doesn't even bother them. But if it does bother you, then you don't need to do it. I highly encourage you just to learn how to be a normal eater. I have a whole series, it's like many videos long, on how to be a normal eater, what does that look like, and how you can get back to being a normal eater if you really struggle with that. I highly recommend you not just go and start throwing more diet tips and fitness things and health things and longevity secrets and all that into the mix at this point. You want to just get normal and be happy and be healthy and, you know, just get back to being you before you start doing all this kind of stuff. You want to try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, great. That's fine. Some people love it. Some people hate it. It's just totally up to you. It's one of those objective things. Like, there's nothing right or wrong about it. It's all dependent upon you and how it works for you. Don't compare yourself to the girl next door who's doing it and she's getting awesome results when you're just sitting there and you're like, I have to fast until lunchtime, and all you're doing from, you know, the minute you wake up at 6:30 in the morning till 12 o'clock is you're literally just counting down the seconds until you get to take your first bite, and like, it's driving you crazy. That's not how you want to live your life. Let me know below if you've ever tried intermittent fasting, if you do it, if it works great for you, if you don't like it, if you've tried it and it didn't work and you came back and now it works. Like, let me know your story with that, and I think it would help a lot of other people as well. So I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you next time. Bye.